Welcome out to the show tonight, guys. It's Studio 321. This is your host, Eddie B. All right, guys. So look, something's been bothering me for the last couple of days. I've been watching this whole Rob Reiner thing go down, and man, you know, it's really this whole thing's really bugging me, and so I wanted to talk about it tonight, and so here we go. So look, everybody knows Rob Reiner, who was he was a comedian, actor, and producer from the '80s. Big Hollywood guy. Been famous for a long time. He was murdered in his home along with his wife. I think it was the day before yesterday. Okay. The son was suspected. I believe they've arrested him now. So they're thinking it was the son. He hasn't. Obviously it's alleged at this point, but that's what it's looking like. There's been a lot of problems in that family with the son, between the son and the family. He was homeless. He's a drug addict, stuff like that for some time. So, that's kind of the way that went. Okay, so that was obviously a sad situation. However, Trump made a comment. Now, if you don't know, him and Trump, they've been bitter enemies for years, right? And everybody understands political enemies, right? You look at Rob Reiner, he was a lefty, a Hollywood guy, so obviously he's going to be a liberal, and he's gone on every show for the last 10 years that he can get on and just constantly running his mouth about Trump, and not just political stuff, man, like real personal attacks, calling him all kinds of names, making fun of his family, like calling him a pedophile and a rapist. And look, the left does that a lot, right? But we all know that that's not true. And that's way outside the the bounds of politics, if you ask me. I mean, calling somebody a pedophile is about the worst thing you can do. It really is. I don't think there's anything worse. I think I'd rather die than be labeled a pedophile, honestly. So, he's running around calling Trump these kind of names for years, and just over the top type of anger, and of course, the late night shows loved it, so they would have him on shows all the time because he would just run his mouth about Trump over and over and over again. Kind of like Robert De Niro, man. They're like stuck in that Trump derangement syndrome, So anyways, this went on for a long, long time. So he was killed the other night, him and his wife. And, Trump, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you Trump's comments on that, and of course, all the politicians are going crazy and saying all this stuff about Trump. So I'm going to read this to you, and just so I can get it perfect, and I'll let you decide. Okay. So this is from Donald Trump on his Truth Social. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Okay, so half of it's nice, half of it's a little bit of a slight, right? So, the Democrats and the liberals are going crazy. Even some Republicans are saying it was tasteless, it was this, it was that. But here's the thing. My question is, does Donald Trump owe Rob Reiner any respect? Okay? And, I sat and I thought about this for about an hour yesterday, and the truth is he doesn't owe him any respect. He doesn't. They were not political enemies. I believe they were personal enemies. That was a beef. You know what I mean? And look, there's a difference. When you're a political enemy with someone, you don't really hate them. You don't really want to see them destroyed. You're basically trying to manipulate people into coming to your side and staying away from them. That's normal politics, right? But there is boundaries on that. Well, there used to be. The left doesn't go by those anymore, but there used to be. When you cross those boundaries and it becomes real personal stuff, like attacking someone's family or calling them, again, a rapist or a pedophile. I mean, think about that. Somebody just called you a rapist or called you a pedophile. And they did it for years. They told every friend you had and everybody that you knew that you were a rapist and a pedophile, so that all of a sudden the people that you know don't even want to hang out with you. And then that person happened to die. Would you feel bad? I wouldn't. I'll be honest. I'd go dance on their grave. Again, in the real world with real people, that hold to their word, and we take serious what people say about us and think about us. That's serious stuff. Okay. Now, in the political world, politicians are so used to lying and lying about each other that I don't even think it bothers them. Like, you could literally call them anything and they don't care, because they're so used to it, and they do it too. So, like, to them, it's not a big deal. But to normal folks, could you imagine if somebody did that to you, calling you all these names for years and years and years and telling everybody trying to ruin you, and then they suddenly tragically passed away? Would you feel bad? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. Again, I'd be happy. And the thing is, people are, oh, is it? No, now's not the time. Well, you know what? Look, now is never the time. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, that was between them two. That's really not for us to decide. You know what I mean? I don't have any personal beef with Rob Reiner. I've never met him. I've seen him on TV acting like a lefty jerk and saying a bunch of nasty stuff. But the truth is, I don't have any personal beef with him or anybody around him. You know what I mean? Never did, whatever. So to think about, like, letting this type of stuff just go. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to just let it go? Did you just let it go? I mean, if I'm Trump, I probably wouldn't have said anything at all. I probably wouldn't. But that's just not Trump. And we've known that since the beginning. He's a fighter. He's going to fight you on the street. He's going to fight you anywhere he can. And you know what? He might even kick you while you're in your grave. So, if you take up that war with him, that's what you got coming. It's like picking a fight with somebody and then you lose the fight and then expecting mercy from them. Well, you know what? At that point, that you deserve none. Rob Reiner he never gave Trump a bit of respect. And the truth is, Trump didn't owe him any respect. He didn't. He said what he said. I didn't think it was so bad. Obviously people were trying to make it into a big deal, but they make a big deal out of everything he says. But the truth is, he's a fighter, man. Don't mess with the guy. He won't mess with you back. That's it. Okay. That's how he won the presidency. That's how he got where he is. Okay. Being a scrapper, man. The guy single-handedly whooped the entire Democratic Party. All of them. Even really 50% of the Republican Party he whooped too, because they didn't want him either. So, I mean, that's the reason he is the way he is the reason why he won. You got to take the good with the bad, man. He says a lot of unpolitically correct stuff, but again, the truth is, these people attack him over and over and over again and say some of the most vile, nasty stuff about him. So, even in death, I don't expect him to roll out the red carpet. Nah, man. No. He said what he said. I think it was enough, and that was it. Anyways, guys, if you like my video, please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. This is Eddie from Studio 321. Have a good night.